Good evening, everyone, and welcome to your February 2019 edition of Monday Night Madness. So, I'm going to talk to you all today about some behind the scenes stuff that happened at 2 Broadway. There are a lot of important things that we're going to get into, but I want to see what's going on here. There we go, because I'm like, whoa. We'll have to fix the window capture after now, will we? We'll fix that. I had everything all lined up. See, you get distracted and all of a sudden... Oh boy. You know what, let's just get rid of that for a second. Put me back. I want to make sure we're live, and then we'll shrink down and I'll get to what I need to get into. Yep, we're live. Good. Just double checking. Okay. So let me just shrink down the window. Just a little bit bigger. And we'll get started. Excellent. Perfect. Oh no, I sound like the photo guy from... Anybody ever seen Nets Declassified where the guy says, perfect? Yep, I sound like him right now. How creepy. Don't worry, I have videos. I had tapes, so we're all good for today. We're all good for tonight. Let me just move me down, that we all can see me. Okay, now we can probably start. So, welcome everyone. Let me move a little bit to the left. Let me move my seat cushion, because then I'll feel comfortable when I sit down like this. Because it's a hard chair. So, let's do a proper introduction. Oh no. Thought I had a... See, I thought I had a chip bag in me. That's just a plastic Ziploc I just ate the Doritos from. Alright, so... A lot we're going to get into tonight. Let's get into some behind-the-scenes stuff very quickly. I'm going to openly say this for the record because I'm a public advisor and I'm only allowed to say the following on YouTube. I'm currently working with some of the elected officials on the bus redesign. I'm only allowed to say I'm working with John Liu right now. I'm not allowed to say the other not candidate, what am I saying? Other person, because this person is high profile. All I'll just say is she's a very big deal. You've probably seen her on the news a lot. All I'll just say is she pulled a political upset in 2018. So if you know who this person is, go figure it out on your own. And I won't say who it is even if you comment, because due to legal reasons, I can't say who this person is, but I can legally say John Liu because I have been closely working with their team to organize these bus redesign events here in Northeast Queens, and I've gone on the record. I've had this stated in a committee book back in for this month that I was working with John Liu. I even told Larry Shorts that in January. And I have to admit, he's been very active. Very, very active. So, all I'm going to say is I'm closely working with him, and I'm closely working with, again, a female elected official. Again, I'm not going to say which branch of government she's in, because, again, that's just, under the circumstances, I can't say who it is because then I'll get in trouble, but things are working out very good, folks. Trust me. And I really mean I'm working with these elected officials. I really am working with these elected officials. Like, it's behind the scenes stuff. But, currently right now, as of now, anything can change, but I'm still scheduled to go to the New York City Transit Commuter Council on Thursday to discuss the delay of process for the final release of the Queens bus redesign. And this is where I bring John Liu in, because thankfully he's delayed this process until April. And we know for a fact the last event here in Northeast Queens, and funny enough, I'm even bringing this up. I'll pull it up on my computer's calendar here. So this darn calendar can come up. There we go. The ironic thing about April 7th is, and this is funny to even mention this, the next day I'm actually supposed to go to a Yankee game. And the 9th I'm supposed to go to Delmarva. So, I know I'm not going to be going to any of these events because, again, it's all behind the scenes stuff. I want the public who can't go to 2 Broadway, who can't go to community council, who can't go to the committees, who can't go to the board meetings in Manhattan. You know, I want them to have their voices heard. I'm technically their voice of the voiceless because I'm not the one negotiating with the politicians here. Alright? I'm not the one that's just, you know... I mean, again, I'm glad they're corrupt. Well, some of them are. Not all of them are, because I'll call out one person. Leroy Comrie. I'm telling you, Southeast Queens really got impacted when it came to how they want people this Thursday to go to Belrose. You're telling people from Rosedale, Laurelton, Springfield Gardens, Cambria Heights, Queens Village, oh, you don't matter. We're not going to get involved. And then you have Jamaica, which is part of Leroy Comrie's district. And I even told Andy Quinto this before the live stream. He lives in Leroy Comrie's district. His address, and this is the unfortunate thing about Leroy Comrie, is that Jamaica is a very complicated district, where District 13 is separated from where District 11 is. District 11 is where John Liu, the active senator, my state senator in District 11 here in Fresh Meadows, and a majority of Northeast Queens, we don't know if that's completely true or not, but then again, Flushing is served by a different district. But it's the tale of 2 politicians. It's like Leroy Comrie claims he's sponsoring Bayside and Belrose. But what about the people who can't go to Belrose? Who don't want to take the Q43 on a Thursday night where, I'll mention, Thursday night's going to be very cold. You're telling those people to go out in the cold? Make them leave their own communities? Especially how a lot of them are low income? That's absurd. That's just absurd. So, my COO of Passengers United, Charlton DeSouza, has been active. He's been doing the best he can to get... He's even told the MTA board members this. You can... I'll even show you if you want proof. Even from last month. I'll even go on YouTube and look it up. I only have this month's tapes, but... He's been getting involved. So, how come he's the only person in Southeast Queens getting involved? And yet you have Clyde Bedell, you have Leroy Comrie not getting involved. At all. And this is what I like about John Liu. I'm glad he's delaying this process. To be honest, and because this is my nightmare I have been dealing with since December 30th. Okay? December 30th. I've been dealing with this nightmare. I'm going to be completely honest here. If Leroy Comrie were to cooperate, actually cooperate, and get meetings in Springfield Gardens, in Laurelton, Cambria Heights, Queens Village, then that would be great. Have the meetings in April. Delay this process until May. For all I care. Claim Q2. Let's go to the finance world. And by the way, that's a thumbnail. Quarters by year. Shall we? I am an evil genius, now am I? Let's go into Investopedia. And let's go into a graph that they have from here. I have an idea for Clyde Bedell and Leroy Comrie, if they actually paid attention to the low-income neighborhoods I keep talking about, and cooperate in what I like to call Operation Stall. This is a great strategy. I'm loving this. Why don't we get this process delayed until July? Because, being selfish here, and I'm going to go on the record and say this, I'm going to be in Delmarva in June. I'm leaving on June 25th, and I'm coming back on, okay, fine. Maybe they could delay this until June. But I'm hoping there's no agita before I go to Delmarva on June 25th. I'm just going to say that right now. Because I don't want to get emailed a document while I'm on my vacation, the one time of the year where I get to enjoy being in Delmarva, because peak tourist time down there. I'd rather be with the tourist in my building, because I own a unit in the building in Maryland where I am in. It's like I want to enjoy my time down there with them. I don't need to be dealing with that. So I'm hoping before June 25th, there'll be a plan. Or, let's be realistic here about this. Let's say Leroy Comrie does get involved. Let's say he does. Okay. Then what about May? What about early June, which would be appropriate for a final plan? Maybe we can keep stalling the MTA here. Maybe we can. Maybe. I don't know at this point. I'm not Pat Foy. I'm not Governor Cuomo. I don't make those decisions. But maybe we can delay it. Stall this process out. Make this seem like a 6-month process for the final plan. Going on the record and saying that. I want to see that happen. A little bit. Maybe other people don't. I don't know. But I will say this. The Bronx is getting closer to their redesign. I don't even know how that's going to end up in the Bronx. I'm going to have to really look into the Bronx. I never really thought of how the Bronx is going to get impacted by the bus redesign. I thankfully do have the PDF, which I won't even go into tonight. So, now, let's check the comments from my epic rant regarding local elected officials in Southeast Queens. Hello, Cuomo Corruption. Thank you for joining. Hopefully we'll get other people to come on, but if you're watching on replay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, let's get into the next point I want to get into. Ooh, I don't want to show that. Go back to this. See, I'm terrible at editing. Let's leave me like this. That way you all can see me while I show you what's going on here. Okay? We're on the same picture? Excellent. Good. Very good. Alright. So, let's get into... Right, what I want to get into. Right. We're going to get into other behind-the-scenes stuff today. We're going to get into that. So, I got to meet Greg Mocker today. I'm finally glad that actually happened. And, Greg is kind of glad, from what I made out, that the process is still getting delayed until April. From what I have told him. And he's very glad that John Liu is also getting involved. So, when you have the most important transit reporter in all of New York City praising your local elected official, that's another important step right there. For at least getting involved in the process. not overall performance, but we're talking the performance of getting involved with the bus redesign. And I even told Jason this because my gut feeling was Greg was going to be there today. Greg Mocker. I told Greg. I told him this today. Well, after NYCT wrapped up their committee today, was that he had to go to the Bronx. The Bronx is literally, in figures, this close to their bus redesign going through. We just don't know when the board's going to vote. So that's up to the board. Just like how it's up to the board to make a decision for a final vote for Queens. Which we can maybe assume could happen in the summer. Or, my theory, and maybe most of you will agree with me on this. You all know how the MTA takes an August recess, just like how yours truly takes a week off and goes to Delmarva in August. Well, the same thing could happen. This could get delayed until September. So I'm very glad about that. It could happen that way, folks. 9 long months. But as long as this gets delayed, we're on the right track here. And I will state this on the record. If we're going to have the final event here in Queens, it should be at St. John's. Sorry for being selfish here. But I'm in Fresh Meadows. I'm right by Utopia Parkway. I'm literally right by the campus. So, let's note that for the record. Okay? Everybody got it? Good. So that's the behind the scenes stuff. Nothing really much to get into. Oh, one more thing. I might be on a podcast. I'm not allowed to say anything else about it, but I'm closely working with Jason on that. It's a podcast for public radio, NPR, but nothing that big, I guess. But hey, I'm moving up in the world, right? NPR is a big deal. Ah. Okay, now that the behind the scenes stuff is over, once again, anybody's interested, I will be at the, why did my camera freeze? Oh, there we go. I'm like, what? I hope my camera didn't freeze. I'm like, there we go. Now I'm seeing myself speak. Okay. So, now we're going to get into, once again, recapping. I'll be at, hopefully, if everything does play out, I'll keep you guys posted on Thursday. Everything is set right now. And I just want to quickly take a look at my phone. I'm waiting for an email from PCAC. And I'm just going to see if they have sent me anything at the moment. Hang on for a second. Do apologize. Yeah, the only thing I got was the Verrazano Bridge thing I had to talk to Daniel DiCorenzo about next month, which I'll get into in a second. Alright, so I think we're all good here. Now let's get into recapping what happened today that wasn't behind the scenes. Alright, where do we begin? That's better. Let's get into our tapes, shall we? How do I have it downloaded twice? That's crazy. Okay, there we go. So we have our tape. Good. So I'll take me off. It'll be annoying if I'm disturbing the shot. But you'll see me talk to you one-on-one in the comments later on in this video. So I'm going to interact with the people, as I like to call them. Might as well be face-to-face with them. There we go. That's better. Alright. Here we are. The first thing we noticed this month, Susan Metzner is not sitting next to Catherine Rinaldi. Interesting, is it? This was the month that Long Island Railroad got to speak first. Unfortunately, that means in March, you're going to see Catherine Rinaldi sitting next to Susan Metzner. What a shock not separating committees anymore. We don't seem to do that anymore now, do we? So, let's get into Jason Anthony for his comments at Metro North Long Island Railroad.
Good morning, Kevin and members of the board. My name is Jason Anthony from Passengers United. This morning I'm going to speak about the discounts that are proposed on the agenda on page 56. My opinion, the discounts should be unified with the Atlantic ticket. As you guys know, Atlantic ticket right now is $5 one way and $60 a month. So our proposal, it should be $45 a month and $5 minimum per direction on Metro North from Harlem 125th Street or GCT, and covering all stations in the Bronx. Because of a discount, maybe 75 cents the least, is not good. At least $5, it will keep it unified with Atlantic ticket. And I'm one of those people that use Atlantic ticket. I used it last week pretty often. And my commute from Atlanta, Brooklyn to Jamaica on a subway, 1 hour. On the Long Island Railroad, 20 minutes. So I saved myself 40 minutes on travel time from Brooklyn all the way to Jamaica. And it's so fabulous that we want Atlantic ticket to be permanent, to promote commuters from Brooklyn and Southeast Queens to use the railroad. So I hope that Kevin and the rest of the board members take this into consideration, and I'll see you guys in transit.
So there you have it. Jason with another good comment. Now, you may be wondering, what was Jason talking about? Well, if we look at page 56 of this month's committee book, you can clearly see this. And, notably, quote, procurement to be voted on February 26th, but apparently was voted on today, which we'll get to, I guess, the first step. Okay, here we go. Subject: New York City Outer Borough Rail Discount Program. For finance. Department head name: Bob Ferran, Chief Financial Officer. So here we go. And I quote, and if you want to take a look at this, you might as well. So, to obtain board approval to conduct the New York City Outer Borough Rail Discount Program, or as we'll watch from July of 2019 in just a second, you're going to see what I talked about way back in July of 2019. Wow, why am I so fascinated with 17? Guess because how bad the subway service was back then, huh? You see, you woke the zombie up. I'm the zombie. I even said that on Instagram today. Shall we? Shall we go back to the process of the Freedom Ticket, which was first discussed by yours truly in July of 2019. We can find the part. I'll lower it because then it'll be echoing in the background.
Last month, I was pleased to hear that Long Island Railroad...
Here we go. Now,
Last month,
9:02. Before I get into my comments from July, let's go into the announcement. I won't play the part of Philip Eng's announcement, but back in June, when I was in Delmarva last year, I saw that Long Island Railroad President Philip Eng extended the Atlantic ticket. And you heard Jason Anthony today, my fellow colleague from Passengers United, reiterate the point that I made in July. So now, we're going to watch a highlight from July 22nd, 2019.
Last month, I was pleased to hear that Long Island Railroad President Philip Eng announced the extension of the Atlantic ticket. This is great because this board finally realizes the importance of travel between Brooklyn and Queens, especially how Brooklyn has lots of opportunities in the job field and especially in the leisure field. But now I feel it's time to expand on that and bring the Freedom Ticket, which will be similar to what Atlantic ticket is. $5, of course, $10 for a round trip, which will be between Queens and Manhattan, which of course is Penn Station. And it will be the same $60 monthly ticket that's currently offered between Atlantic and the qualifying stations in Queens. With that, I yield my time.
So there you have it. I made very good points. See that, folks? You see what my actions in July have led up to today. How many months has it been? Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 months. I guess 7 is a lucky number when you think about it. So, we now go back to this month's committee book. And you can also thank Lisa Daglian for participation too, from PCAC, aka Funds from the Outer Borough Transportation Account, aka Congestion Pricing. This is agreement between Governor Andrew Cuomo and the state legislative leaders to support the New York City Outer Borough Rail Discount Program, or what I said back in July of 2019, Freedom Ticket. These funds will be used to provide a 20% discount on eligible Long Island Railroad monthly tickets, a 10% discount on other eligible Long Island Railroad types, and a 10% discount on eligible Metro North ticket types. Eligible ticket types are applicable railroad station to detail in Exhibit A. All existing fares and tickets will be continued to be offered. Eligible discount tickets will be available on all miles of purchasing, including on-board, through e-tix, and from ticket window and ticket vending machines at the available New York City stations. Here we go. More details. The pilot, aka Freedom Ticket, is designed to provide additional customer travel options within New York City. Due to the discounted railroad fares and potential time-saving inconvenience, some New York City Transit customers may switch modes from subway and bus to Long Island Railroad and Metro North. The duration of the pilot will be from 6 to 12 months and could begin early as the second quarter, which will be on March 1st, 2020. Elevation of the pilot will include analysis of financial, ridership, operational, and train capacity impacts. Ticket sales and train count data will also be analyzed. Riders will be surveyed to determine usage patterns, prior mode of travel for these trips, typical VR media will be purchased, and attitudes regarding the service. Information gathered on the New York City Outer Borough Rail Discount Pilot will be used to further evaluate the market for Long Island Railroad and Metro North services for travel within New York City. Okay, so I just want to see if they do have an exhibit here. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm going to go into the exhibits very quickly. Right, so I just want to double check this. So I know there's a couple pages here. So they do have a lot of information, so let's just read this together, shall we? Following New York City stations on Long Island Railroad goes as follows. Atlantic Terminal, Auburndale Osdom Hall, which I'm going to call it that from now on because that's Osdom Hall Station. Auburndale Osdom Hall, Bayside, Broadway, Douglaston, East New York, Flushing Main Street, Forest Hills, Hollis, Hunters Point Avenue, Jamaica, Kew Gardens, Laurelton, Little Neck, Locust Manor, Long Island City, Metz Willets Point, Murray Hill, Nostrand Avenue, New York Penn Station, Queens Village, Rosedale, St. Albans, and Woodside. So there you have it. Applicable New York City Metro North stations goes as follows. Botanical Garden, Fordham, Grand Central Terminal, Harlem 125th Street, Marble Hill, Melrose, Morris Heights, Riverdale, Sputton Duvall, Tremont, University Heights, Wakefield, Williamsbridge, Woodlawn, and Yankees East 153rd Street stations. Eligible Long Island Railroad tickets goes as follows. Daily single ride tickets, one-way peak, one-way off-peak, round trip. Multiple ride tickets will include monthly, weekly, 10-trip peak, and 10-trip off-peak. Eligible Metro North tickets, daily single ride tickets, one-way peak, one-way off-peak, round trip, monthly, weekly, 10-trip peak, 10-trip off-peak. I don't want to go into any more of this. You don't want to read that. That's not relevant. Now, they have the one-way. I don't think they do. So, let me look at this straight here. You mean to tell me they're only going to lower it to $7? That's not even a noticeable change. My goodness. That's a laughingstock. That is just a laughingstock. Now, we're not going to get into PTC. That's a complicated issue. But I will say this. I have faith in Philip Bing. He's going to get it done on time. Just like how I definitely know Catherine Rinaldi will have it done on time with Metro North as well. Okay. So, pretty much it was Charlton talking the same point. So, I don't want to get into Charlton. Don't want to get into Murray. Noticeable, one thing's for sure. No sign of Warren Getz. Interesting, is it? Now, we're going to go into the Long Island Railroad track work programs. And we'll get to that in just a second. Because there is a noticeable shut down on the Babylon branch this upcoming weekend that I will get into. I think there might be one for Atlantic Terminal, which I hope not, because here's the thing with Atlantic Terminal. Celine Dion's performing at Barclays Center this weekend. Okay, according to this, we have a lot of unprecedented... This is completely unprecedented. I am just shocked about this. So let me see what the other slide was. Just hang on. Okay, here we go. So from this slide, what President Ang was showing today was that this weekend, they're going to be replacing the Meadowbrook substation in Freeport. So they will be suspending service on the Babylon branch this upcoming weekend. Good news is there will be concrete tie installation on the Ronkonkoma branch from Farmingdale to Wyandanch. Third rail upgrades Wantor to Amityville. PSC&G's repairs from Huntington to Port Jefferson. Jamaica capacity improvements. Glen Cove Road bridge replacement. Douglaston Station platform beam installation. Wreck Lead Bridge rehabilitation for Long Beach. That's probably Superstorm Sandy related. Which, 8 years. I mean, my goodness. How long? That's Nowakowski's fault right there. That's where I have to point the finger for double-crossing Long Beach. Cherry Valley Road bridge replacement. Penn Station Amtrak rehabilitation for tracks 11 to 15. Atlantic Avenue Tunnel lighting upgrade. Long Island City's Yard tracks 11 and 12 out of service. 17 Grand Crossings renewed. 13 switches installed. 35 main track switches surfaced. 1,120 field welds. 107.6 miles of track surfaced. 354,800 feet of continuous welded rail installation. 62,440 concrete ties. And the more important thing in the Port Washington branch, concrete tie installation from Woodside to Metzwolds Point. Do apologize, folks. I had that slide, if I can find it. So there you go. More work. More work. Now, I want to go into the New Hyde Park Road grade crossing elimination. That should be done by June. Now, as far as Willis Avenue in Mineola, I know this one for a fact. That is a situation that we don't honestly have an answer on right now. So, hopefully I'll keep you all posted when we have information. But I'll double check in the committee book, because I know that's something else. Interesting, another bridge in Westbury. Wow. They're going to install another bridge in Westbury. Look at that. They want to widen the Van Wyck Bridge on the Atlantic branch. So that's good. 2 projects of Great Neck, pocket track surfacing and pocket track signal cutover. Alright, so there you go. All thanks to Philip Bang. As I said, you guys in Long Island should be very thankful for him. He's your Andy Byford. Keep that in mind. Okay, so this is the part where we go back to the committee book. And what we're going to do right now is get into... if I can find it. Let's see, is it in the table of index? Okay, let's see. I don't want to get into PTC. That is a long, complicated thing I don't want to get into tonight. Okay, operations. I don't see anything regarding... okay, so looks like Metro North has a spring-summer change. I don't want to get into that. Okay, so it'll be on page 131, so let's see if I can find it. Okay, just want to see if they have information about the, okay, here we go. Long Island Railroad schedule change will start on Monday, March 9th, and it will last until Sunday, May 17th. So I'm assuming most likely in May we'll know more information about the Montauk service, including the Cannonball, the annual Friday afternoon train that runs from Penn Station to Montauk. That's when you know summertime's coming. Okay, March 4th timetable change, and I quote, "In response to customer request, one early morning train will have add stops. The 3:58 a.m. train from Long Beach will add stops at East New York and Nostrand Avenue." I actually listened to a customer. Wow. Alright, so they're going to be doing the concrete tie installation. I don't want to get into that. It's not really important. Don't really want to get into that. I'm looking for track work. There we go. So let's get into the track work programs coming up. So once again, the first notable one we have will be on the weekend, this upcoming weekend of Leap Day, Saturday, February 29th, and Sunday, March 1st. Both main tracks along the Babylon branch will be out of service between Baldwin and Babylon for 48 hours to support a signal cutover for Massapequa Pocket Track. Alright, so, let's see. It looks like service between, let's see, right. So, so there's going to be buses. I don't want to get into that because that's a controversial issue. But I'm just giving you the heads up. And I'm sorry to say this, folks. If you're on the South Shore this weekend, you're going to have to end up taking the main line. And here's where it really gets good for people along the Prippy Little Piabadam branch this weekend. Here's where it really gets good. Now, the people along the South Shore who need to get to Jamaica to transfer for Celine Dion's concert for its Saturday, guess what? They're going to have to take the main line. Or, for those prippy little people, if you're that desperate to avoid transferring, just go to Valley Stream. It's an easier option. Get the Far Rockaway branch in Valley Stream. Or, if you really want to pay for parking, go to Garden City. Don't go to Hampstead. So my best alternatives this weekend, if you need to go to Brooklyn and you want to avoid transferring at Jamaica from the main line, go to Valley Stream, go to Garden City, or go to Stewart Manor, Nassau Boulevard. That would be much easier. Okay, on the weekend of March 7th and the 8th, one of two main tracks will be out of service between Bethpage and Farmingdale. Oh boy, look at this. They're going to shut down the Ronkonkoma branch next weekend. Oh boy, that's not good. Hopefully there's no notable events in Manhattan that weekend. I won't get into that. Oh, look at this. Look at this. On the weekends of March 7th, March 14th, 15th, March 21st, 22nd, and April 4th for the 5th, the Port Washington branch will be suspended. Will be out of service between Bayside and Great Neck. Rehabilitation of Douglaston. You can't make this stuff up. Wow. Interesting. More bad luck for the Biabadam branch. Some Biabadam branch trains will terminate and originate in Jamaica on the weekends of March 14th and 15th and March 21st and 22nd to support testings of new signals and infrastructure of Harold interlocking. Oh, you can't make this stuff up for the Biabadam branch. That is just too funny. That is just too funny. Okay. Now let's get to your comments. Okay. First, let's get to Matt Camper. Okay. First, let's get to Matt Camper. Hang on a second, folks. I do apologize. We are having technical difficulties at the moment. Now let's get to your comment. Do apologize. Just hang on. I'm just going to double check to see if we are still on the air. So please just bear with me here. Hang on a second, folks. I do apologize. We are having technical difficulties at the moment. Now let's get to your comment. Okay, there we go. All right. So if the comments got cut off, I'll just say to Matt, if he was paying attention, I'm very worried about the Q41 as well, because here in Fresh Meadows, that's our only livelihood to get to Howard Beach if we need to get over there, Matt. So that's I'm concerned about the 41 too. So just gonna go on the record and say that. Okay, so just double checking one more time. Say to Matt if he was paying attention. Okay, good. We're good. All right, so let's get to the New York City tape. We'll watch Jason.
Good morning, Lucille. Good morning, Larry. Good morning, Anthony McCord. Nice to see you around here on Transit. Why I'm here today again. I was victim of a crime in our beloved subway system on Tuesday. My cell phone was snatched while I was on an E-train as an eggnog in Queens Plaza by two individuals that didn't have nothing else to do. And I would want to thank Transit District 20 that are managing my situation with great professionalism. And I hope that I won't go through this again. Because unfortunately, since this past Tuesday, I didn't leave my home. And why is that? Because I don't feel safe anymore riding on the subways. I don't feel safe because there's no security cameras in the mezzanine and on the platforms. If I was a victim, who knows who else could be the next victim of a crime in our subway system, and not having security cameras and key spots where the officers of every transit district could retrieve those images and use it to look for the suspects. So I want to thank Chief De La Torre for giving me that phone call. And I want to thank everybody who gave me support. And because of this, I'm standing here before you. So I'll see you guys in finance.
Very good for Jason that he went on stage and told everybody his story. Because I don't really want to debate the safety of the Queens Boulevard line anymore. But remember, I have no choice to take that. Remember, folks, I am in Fresh Meadows. The only livelihood of me getting direct access to Manhattan, the fastest way, is still the E or the F train. Now, Jason's not the only one who's fell victim, it seems. Seems I can't connect. Can I try to reconnect to the live stream? Here we go. Right. So nobody has commented. I just want to double check. Okay. Double checking. That's not it. Oh, let's just read this article. Yep. That's right. Somebody was robbed at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike. You can't make this stuff up. I was going to save this for the Queen's News update, but this has to be said. And I even talked about it on NPR today, so trust me. I know what I'm talking about. So if NPR wants proof, this is the proof right here. Okay, the NYPD is looking for 2 men who allegedly robbed an 18-year-old man as he waited for the train in Kew Gardens 2 weeks ago. On Monday, February 10th, around 11:30 a.m., the team was waiting on the southbound E-train platform at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike, where an unidentified man grabbed his cell phone and ran away, according to the police. The teen started to run after the thief, but was stopped by a second man who threatened the victim with violence should he kept chasing his partner in the crime. So we have surveillance video. So trust me, folks, Jason's not the only victim in the past week and a half. But it seems the media didn't get involved in Jason's story. Interesting, don't you think? Alright. No need to complain here. And I don't want to get into Charlton, but, you know. I don't want to get into Omar because he talked about politics today. Today is not the day for politics. And we're now not going to get to Murray. Okay, so now let's get into this. Notice something interesting here. The 7 Express, thanks from Sally's presentation today, went up 14% on the 7 Express. Interesting. That was, of course, from Andy Byford's leadership. But notice something here. That's right. Redhead was sitting next to her today. That's what I call her from now on. I'm sorry, but it's just high heat with me. They had the police report, but I don't want to get into that. Because Charlton actually fell asleep. I'll just go on the record and say that. Okay, I don't want to put anybody else to sleep. Trust me, I'm not in any mood for that. Alright, let's get to the comments. Right, you have the E-train, Andy. And that's why I'm trying to watch my surroundings, too. That's why I'm doing the best I can, Andy. Believe me. Okay, I don't want to put anybody... But I'm dead serious. I'm not in any mood to put anybody to sleep. That happened to Charlton today. So, I guess we're going to fast forward the bridges and tunnels. Because this is where Charlton actually matters.
Our next speaker is Charlton D'Souza, followed by Andrew Pollock.
Good afternoon. I'm Charlton D'Souza from Passengers United. And one of the things that I want to discuss with Bridges and Tunnels is that are you guys included and participating in the Queens bus redesign? And the reason why I say that is because we have a lot of express buses that go through the Midtown Tunnel. And we also have express buses, that go through the Brooklyn Battery and all of that. And one of the things that I've noticed, I'm an express bus rider sometimes, and I know they have the bus lane on the LIE going inbound, but coming back home, we have to go via the 59th Street Bridge and then Queens Boulevard. Is there a way that Bridges and Tunnels, can work with the MTA's bus redesign committee so that they could put outbound bus lane on the LIE and even in the Midtown Tunnel for the evening rush hours? Because I noticed in the evenings coming back, the traffic is horrible. Sometimes you're sitting in that traffic for like 20, 30 minutes over there, all the way up to the cemetery. So that's something that you guys have to work out. And also, I noticed that in the Bronx, the buses only go through, I think, the Whitestone Bridge. The other bridge that goes closer to Co-op City over there by the Clearview, you'll need a bus going up that bridge, going into Bayside. Y'all should have a route there. I think that would be better because then you don't have to go through Flushing and stuff like that. So Bridges and Tunnels could work that out. And I want to ask you guys something. When people don't pay the fare, don't pay the tolls, how often do you guys go after them? Because there seems to be like a aggressive movement to go after turnstile jumpers, but when people evade the tolls, what's happening to them? I think the MT needs to, send a public relations message to the media and to the public so we know what's happening to people who don't pay the tolls. Thank you.
All right, so excellent points from Charlton. Now, I will say this on the record, is that I completely agree that we should have the buses avoid the 59th Street Bridge. And I've even discussed this with my dad, and I've even told my dad when my bus has gone in the Midtown Tunnel. I told my dad this about... Right, I was always a frequent bus rider in 16 and 17. Somewhere around that time frame. And when I told my dad that my bus went through the Midtown Tunnel going back into Queens, he was like, they actually avoided the 59th Street Bridge for a change? He actually laughed at me. I told him that. And he's like, why don't they make it permanent? It's an MTA-owned tunnel. So Charlton and my dad agree on that. And trust me, my dad, when we were driving on the 59th Street Bridge back on January 26th, was that when we were looking at the bus going eastbound, when we were going into the city, my dad was like, why is there a big bus on this bridge? It should not be on here. My dad literally was yelling behind the wheel. That's how mad he was. So, there needs to be an aggressive movement to keep the express buses in the Midtown Tunnel. Because there's no need for these buses to go on the 59th Street Bridge. Unless there's an emergency. Then you do it. But at all times, it should be on the Midtown Tunnel. Completely agree. Completely agree with Charlton. So now I'm going to correct Charlton on a point about the other bridge, which you'll see in my comment, and then I'll have to correct the point, and I'll have to apologize to Daniel about this in March, but let's get into this, shall we?
Our final speaker is Andrew Pollock.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andrew Pollock. I am a public advisor to Passengers United. Very quickly, I want to clarify Charlton's point about the other bridge. The other bridge that's close to Co-op City is the Throg's Neck, and this is something I know very well because I normally am on that bridge when I go to Delmarva, but I want to stick to what I really want to talk about today, and that is the Verrazano. What's been going on with the Verrazano Bridge lately? Well, I look at my tablet, and there was a sign changed. And guess what happened when that sign was changed? A lot of the buses, express and local, that go over the Verrazano were impacted that day. That work should have been done overnight, don't you think? Also, another thing with the Verrazano, I've been reading from newspapers, media's been talking about it a lot, that you guys are thinking of doing double tolling on the Verrazano Bridge? You basically now want to make people almost pay $40 to do a round trip between Brooklyn and Staten Island. I have family in Staten Island. This is going to impact me. I mean, I'm glad that my dad's an Easy Pass rider, don't get me wrong. But what about the other people who don't have Easy Pass? That's going to really, hurt the economy of Staten Island and Brooklyn, I think. So please really think about what you're doing, because it's very inappropriate to, make people pay the expensive toll to go into Staten Island and make them pay all over again to go into Brooklyn. That's just outrageous. So with that, I conclude my remarks. I'll see you all at Finance.
That was our final public speaker.
Thank you so much. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Any second? And all in favor? All right, thank you. Are there any changes to the committee work plan?
No changes to the work plan.
All right, I'll turn it over to Danny for the president's remarks.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just quickly with the two-way tolling, we're not doubling the toll at the Verrazano Bridge. Just wanted to make it clear. It's split tolling at the Verrazano.
Okay, everyone, so my points about the Verrazano, let's get into that. That's the elephant in the room everybody wants to talk about tonight, it seems. Okay, first, let's compare the old sign. Notice something. The old one, here's the new one. That's right, they added another Z to the Verrazano. Can't make this stuff up. And you had to delay the buses in Staten Island, didn't you? You had to. Unacceptable. This could have been done on a weekend. I just triggered my Alexa. Oh, no. Please don't go on. I can't. But in all seriousness, it's interesting how that played out. But Daniel actually corrected me today. Daniel DiCorenzo, president of Bridges and Tunnels. What you need to know of split tolling. All right, so let's go back to why this became a big deal. Back in December, President Trump signed a spending package that included a repeal of the split tolling ban on the Verrazano Bridge. So pretty much, they wanted to split the span's $19 one-way toll into two, $9.50. So, a federal mandate. Right. So they need to install additional toll infrastructure. Yep, it wasn't even discussed. But I bet, knowing my luck, I'm probably going to end up in the Staten Island Advance. Knowing my luck, I'll probably end up in the Staten Island Advance. And you know why I'm probably going to end up in the Staten Island Advance? You know why I'm probably going to end up in that newspaper. You may be wondering why. Somebody had guts and courage to actually speak up, actually cares about his own family, who uses the Verrazano Bridge. My family is going to be using that bridge a lot this year. And there is a lot of good reasons why. And I'll go into the main one word. One word I'll get into. Wedding. Why am I bringing up the word wedding? I have 2 weddings in my family this year. One in August and one in September. Okay? Both weddings are going to be in Long Island. My cousins, it should be like this all the time. Fine. Pay the $19. Pay it. If you don't have the Easy Pass. Or you're not a Staten Island resident and you don't get the toll rebates. But you're going to impact my family going into Long Island? That's why I got confused. So, it's just called split tolling. So, now I'm going to have to ask Daniel in March, is there going to be a discount on Easy Pass? So, that needs to be further discussed because you're leaving a lot of people in Staten Island with more questions than answers at this point, including somebody who has family in Staten Island. And by the way, I'll go on the record about Staten Island. All of my Staten Island family are West Shore residents. So, if you know Staten Island, you know what I'm talking about. Alright, so just keep that in mind. Come to think of it, I have one cousin I have cousins who live in Arden Heights, and then the other cousins who live by the Gothels. Okay, so now I'm getting my Staten Island geography correct. And I really pray for them because I know one of the weddings is going to be all the way in Stony Brook. That's right, one of the weddings is going to be in Stony Brook. You know how long it's going to take from the West Shore of Staten Island to Stony Brook in Long Island? I don't even want to think about that for my relatives in Staten Island. That's a big deal for them. And then my other cousin, I know that's the one in September. That's the one that's guaranteed. The other wedding in August, I don't even know where that's going to be. So I have 2 cousins who are getting married this year. And my other family's coming from Staten Island. So I wonder if this is even going to be implemented before August 2nd. Because that's the first wedding. Can't make this stuff up. By the way, we're going to fast forward to the end of the meeting.
The Harlem River Drive.
Find it.
And it made
As acting president, my team and I would other into 9 roles.
Nancy? If there are no questions, that concludes the B&T committee report. Is there a motion to adjourn? Actually, I'm sorry, before we vote, Mr. Commissioner, do you want to say anything about the timing of the Finance Committee? At 1:15, we'll start the Finance Committee for those. Sir?
You addressed one of the questions that our public speakers had about the tolling on the bridge. The other question is that we don't want to leave it unanswered, that we don't go after people who don't pay the tolls. Could we have just a quick,
Yeah, just quickly, we have a robust mechanism on, I hate to say the word going after, but enforcing our toll efforts at bridges and tunnels, which include a legal aspect and an enforcement aspect. And I could go into detail or I could give you more information.
No, I don't need, I just wanted to be made public that it's not a free ride.
Definitely not.
So out of all people, Randy Glockman actually asked that question regarding Charlton's point. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. You just can't. You just can't. I'm having a good old jolly time now, am I? Okay, let me go into another point today regarding the schedule, was that, One thing I forgot to mention behind the scenes with Larry Schwartz today and Janelle Lieber, I'll bring this up as well. That's what I had to bring up. I knew I forgot something, so this is the perfect time. So today I went over to, and I have the place on my phone because they were in my call log. Today I called Justino's Pizza by Stone Street, about a block and a half away from Stone Street, and I got takeout today from them. And Larry, he saw me coming into the 20th floor today, and I'll mention Larry was laughing at me today, like, "Hey, I want pizza." I'm like, Larry, come on, get your own. Just teasing around with him, but I will say this to Larry: if he wants a pie, let me know. It's only $12 at Justino's. I should have got a takeout menu. You know what? Next time I do takeout from them, 'cause I know when I do takeout, they give me two regular slices for $5. So, I'll have to get a takeout menu from them next time. But they're a small place, but a lot of the board members do go there, and they take their takeout upstairs and eat it in their offices. That I know for sure. But what was I gonna say? Right. So Bridges and Tunnels actually started today around 12:45. I'm going on the record. Finance started today at 1:15 because everything ended early today because what had happened was I was just walking in, and when I was getting onto the elevator, and this I know very well today, was that Dr. Metzner was on the big screen, and if you're ever in the lobby of 2 Broadway and they let you get past security clearance, you go by the gift shop, they have a monitor there. And I was like, Transit's still speaking, good. So I'm early, and then all of a sudden, I'm talking to the normal security guy who knows me pretty well in the elevator. He's known me for all these months, and I get out of the elevator, and the first person who comes out of the boardroom is Larry Schwartz seeing me with my pizza box. I'm not joking. And I'll mention this. I spoke to Janelle Lieber today after the NYCT meeting, because I'm like, this is my chance to tell Janelle what I really want to tell him. And what was important today was Whitehall Street. As soon as I got off from Whitehall Street today, when I went to Stone, as soon as I get up the steps, I'm like, why is the escalator out today? And then Jano tells me this logical answer, which I guess it makes sense, was that the escalator is old. But I don't want to ask him how old it was because, Greg Mocker wanted to talk to me today. I wasn't going to be rude to him. Hello, Greg Mocker. But I'm going to have a further talk with Andrew Albert, if possible, on Thursday about it. Because if I am going to community council, I am going to have to let Andrew Albert know what happened today and let him know on Thursday. Because I'm hopefully going to see him on Thursday. That's the goal I have. But it could be the first time I actually get to meet the infamous Mr. X. So I wonder how that's going to end up on Thursday. But, what was I going to say? Right. So we started early today, and we'll get to finance in just a second. I want to check the comments. No, Cuomo corruption. Here's the thing. It's called split tolling. Split tolling. That's what it's called. Split tolling. But the thing is, and Cuomo corruption, I'm going to ask Danny in March, bottom line, is there going to be a discount on Easy Pass? That's all I'm going to ask him. Because now this all adds up to me. Because I'm like, I'm going to apologize to him. I'm going to tell Danny in March, listen, I'm sorry, and I understand that I made a mistake, and now I have a simple answer. Can you guys let us know how the Easy Pass is going to work? Is it going to be $9.50 for non-Easy Pass and then the other Easy Pass users? Because again, I know my family has Easy Pass because my cousins who live in Arden Heights, they definitely have Easy Pass. I know this for a fact because their son, who is my other cousin, of course, he lives in Annapolis. Well, not Annapolis, but I think Stevensonville, which is right by Easton. So that's on the Bay of the Chesapeake, of course, in Delmarva. But they use Easy Pass all the time. So, oh boy. Matt, thank you for moderating. Thank you for moderating, Matt. I'll take a look myself just a second. Let me put my image up. Oh my god. Oh my god. I do apologize for these messages. Trying to see what it spells out. Yep, he's in a timeout. He's in a timeout, believe me. He's in a timeout. He's definitely in a timeout, believe me. Yep. Okay, I know Cuomo corruption. I hate these trolls. I really hate these trolls. Yeah, Andy, I will go to CPOC. I will definitely go to CPOC. Let me just see if I can shrink this. Hang on. Yeah, Andy, I'll definitely show CPOC. Okay, as far as Larry, Andy, here's the thing. Here's the thing about Larry, and I'll put my camera on. I should have put the camera on. I put my camera on. There we go. As far as Larry is concerned, remember, Larry has been very proactive since he met me in July. So, I guess I've really made a great impression on Larry Shorts. Now he wants pizza for me. That's a big deal, Andy. That is a big deal. I mean, think about it. Larry's helping me out. I should return the favor to him. Right? Right? I will mention this if Larry ever does want lunch. As far as pizza places in Lower Manhattan, there's another place I know called Grotto. I've eaten there once. It's not that bad, but the thing is, the pizza slices are $3. It's not really worth it, especially if you're in a hurry and you want takeout. That's the thing. Like, put window capture on. Ooh, don't want that. Why isn't this in full picture? That's better. Yeah, I know. I know. Okay, folks, so we're now going to go to the finance tape. And I'm hoping to end the stream at around 11 o'clock, hopefully. At this rate. I think we'll be able to. So, keep in mind, I do have to go to Northlaw tomorrow. It's my only day I'm working there this week. So, please keep in mind, I do have to get to bed before midnight. So, because I have to be at Northlaw at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Because I actually have to get my ID renewed for the year because, it's expiring next week, and I have to talk to my boss about that behind closed doors. So that's something I discussed with her. But let's just see here for a second. Right, let's get to the tape. Find it. Here we go. All right, so Andy will definitely get the CPAC because I know you're waiting for CPAC, Andy. Okay, let's get rid of my image. Let's get rid of my camera. Oh, here we are. Finance Committee. Yay. Okay. I don't want to get into that. That's not really important with Jason and Jason's comment and Charlton's. That's something I do not want to relive today because I'm just tired. I'm just really tired.
wisely. So see you guys on Wednesday.
All I'm gonna say is Wednesday is gonna be interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. Which I will remind everybody, the full board will be meeting at 10 o'clock actually on Wednesday morning because Audit had their meeting today, and they adjourned because CPAC had to end their meeting later today, which crazy enough. But I will mention the board meeting right now for Wednesday is scheduled for 10 a.m. So that's going to be a little bit iffy because I am going to be at Osnum on Wednesday. So I may have to use my LTE on Wednesday to watch a little bit of the board meeting. But definitely, I know I want to watch the public speakers, but the full board, I'm probably just going to wait until I get home and watch it. Oh yeah, I have a video tape Wednesday, right. That's going to be more complicated. Okay. I'll figure it out. Don't worry. I always make things work out. Okay, right. Let's get to the finance tape, and let's get to my comments from today. By the way, I just want to pull up a quick website. If I can find it. There we go. This is what we're going to use after I'm done playing my my comments from today. So here we go. Here are my comments from today.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Andrew Pollack, who will be followed by Rachel Foss.
Good afternoon, Bob, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Two things regarding buses today. I forgot to mention last month that the Q27 is also going to be impacted by the Queens bus redesign. And also, I want to state on the record that the QM5 and QM7 express buses in Fresh Meadows are going to be impacted. And I'm potentially going to lose my express bus stop in Fresh Meadows at 188th Street and 73rd Avenue. So let's make sure that's on the record. Okay, second, we're having problems at Queens Village Bus Depot lately with the Orion 7 second-gen buses. This is the miles from 6844 to 6852 and from 6854 to 6905. So let's go to a timeline of events, shall we? This is 2 weeks ago. Let's go back to, and if I have my calendar, see, this is the problem with these phones. Okay, let's just go back 2 weeks ago. This was 2 Tuesdays ago. I was on the 150 bus from Long Island Jewish to Kew Gardens. Orion 7 old gen. Back door wasn't opening. Then, on Thursday, I take the 138 bus, and bus is going so slow. Apparently, the transmission's having a problem. So, this is where I call Governor Cuomo on it. He promised us more buses at Queens Village Bus Depot. Currently, right now, we have the brand new 2019 fleet, which is the Smart Bus. There's 64 buses right now. And the second gens, we have 61 buses. So what I'm suggesting to the governor is, especially because this is part of the capital budget, there's supposed to be a plan for the next 3 years to slowly phase out these buses. So I hope the governor can keep to his word. He has 3 years, and I hope he'll deliver on it. So thank you very much. I'll see you all in March.
All right. So, the Q27 is going to dramatically get impacted. I'm not going to go to the draft again because that's more agita. But I have reviewed it, and I have people reach out to me in the past couple of weeks telling me that I should let Larry know about the Q27, which, whoever has reached out to me personally, I want to thank you for that because your input really matters to Larry Shorts. But I want to go into the issues with the Orion 7 old gens very quickly. All I'm just going to say is these buses are on their last leg. I don't want to recap what I said in my speech today. The words are just there, and it's just going to be a CD track on repeat. But I will tell you this today. I had the next gen, and I know I had the smart bus today. And I just want to quickly mention overall, if you look at the number of the buses, and we'll add this up right now, 64 plus 61 at the moment would be 125 buses, which would be mainly Nova Bus, which I guess if you were to add that up from this, you look into the other buses, which are the Nova Bus LFS, you add that up 48, that would be about 173, and then you add 34. In total, we're supposed to have 207 Nova buses at Queens Village Bus Depot by the year 2023. Now, why am I giving an accurate number of 2023? Well, in 2023, we're going to have another debate about a capital budget. So, when you look at it this way, wait a minute, hang on for a second. Did somebody in Google actually post? This is funny. This is pretty funny. Look at this. That's actually pretty funny. Look at this. Q27, Spencer Avenue, and Springfield Boulevard. Yeah, Back Avenue. I know exactly where this is. I like these people on Google, man. They're pretty accurate. You have a Q88 leaving Queens Center Mall. A Q27 going down Casino Boulevard, making its way to Main Street in Flushing. And then, what's this one? I'm curious. Yeah, this looks like Flushing as well. Okay. Right. What was I going to say? Right. Look at this number for a second, folks. And imagine 207 Nova buses at Queens Village Bus Depot. In theory, you can't get the buses like this. So, the unfortunate thing is, and there may be a possibility that we may be stuck with the second gen fleet for the next 3 years. And I'm really praying that it all ends well. I don't know. Are we destined to be with these buses until 2028? I hope not. 8 more years of this? It's like having the Nova Bus RFS go past its prime. Can't make this stuff up. What could happen? Just curious. What's this bus? Just want to see. 7 shuttle. Interesting. Hey, 6858. See what I mean? I'm so familiar with this fleet. It's crazy. What's this one? 4695. Yeah, this is done the 88. I know that. Okay, go back to the comments very quickly. Oh, okay, so, Cuomo Corruption says this is created by a YouTuber named Kingsbridge Viewer 3882. Cuomo Corruption, I don't know. I honestly don't have an answer for that right now. I mean, I would love for Steingle to give us some of the buses, but I don't really have an answer right now. I just don't. Yeah, Andy, we'll get to CPOC. Trust me, we will. Definitely get to CPOC. I also want to read from today's AM New York because there's an interesting transit section there today. That's how I'll wrap up the video. Alright, I won't go on to the J issue. Very quickly, okay. There is a possibility, Andy. You know what? Now that you think of it, hang on for a second. They could swap with East New York? Maybe. Let me see. Maybe. I don't know, Andy. That would be something that would have to be discussed. Let me look at this XD Excelsior. Yeah, exactly, Andy. The governor should be ordering more of the Excelsior buses, but apparently he's not. That's Cuomo at work. Unbelievable. There should be a swap. Maybe. I don't know. I have no answer. Exactly. Yeah, and I know this for a fact, Andy. That the Q56 is run by this too. Look at that. All right, so let's get into this.
One package to this about art of
That be fair. I've shared the same line of reasoning with each of you at this space station.
Assume that what was
Let me just see something.
fair structure. What they've done is with these numbers, Bob.
and it factored in
or other ways of I am going to make a motion. Do I have a second? Be inventive and creative and innovative in trying to figure out if there's other ways to approach this issue instead of just having to have biannual fare increases on autopilot.
I am at your disposal, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, I am, since we've asked all our questions on this issue, I am going to make a motion. Do I have a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We have one opposed, Commissioner Zuckerman. Anyone else opposed? Okay. Motion carried. Okay. David, can we keep going, please?
Sure. Then next we move to MTHQ and all agency items, reports and information items. The ferivation reports begin on page 76. Pat Warren has a short pilot.
it's not right. With me,
Are you prepared to monitor this in a way that
Board approval to file for and accept federal grants for federal fiscal year 2020. Stephanie Delisle and Catherine Corliss are here if you have any questions.
Any questions from a board member?
Issuance of these sales tax bonds, some issuances.
Report, but we'll add MTA $4 million or 11.6% favor.
From phase one.
Do we have a second?
Request authorization to use a competitive request for proposal process to purchase 504 A Division Rapid Transit open gangway cars with an option to purchase 445 additional cars and a second option to purchase up to 415 additional cars.
So at New York City Transit earlier today, we voted this action item without recommendation to the full board. Part of the reason why there was a number of people missing from the New York City. So again, we had a discussion at New York
dollars
expiration.
Now 3.5 years. Railroad and MTA Construction and Design. It's an
Well, folks, I'm not going to look for that part of the finance approving the freedom ticket, but I think Andy's getting antsy. Let's get to CPAC. So I'm getting antsy too, to be honest, because you're going to see something shocking today at CPAC, besides Andy. And Andy actually showed up late to finance. I saw him. I'm like, Andy, you didn't sign in? I'm like, no. I'm like, oh no. Looks like you may have to wait until CPOC. So let's get into Andy. And we actually have an epic fail with Andy Quinto today. You'll watch in a second.
Quinn Coito, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing, who will be followed by Lisa Guerra.
Yep, watch.
Good afternoon, board, MTA board. My name is Andy Quito. I'm part of Passengers United and an advocate for the MTA. So, at Finance Committee meeting earlier, they approved the discount for Long Island Railroad and Metro North for the discount for the tickets travel in New York City. So, as part of your capital project for 2020 to 2026, I think you should start extending platforms at every single commuter rail station in the Bronx, Queens, and Brooklyn to a full train length to accommodate the extra capacity. And as for that, I think the Long Island Railroad and Metro North needs to start buying new trains like the M9s to supplement the capacity, because we're already suffering from because the trains are already overcrowded. And with this, it's going to suffer from extreme overcrowded. And the second thing, I want to talk about the R179s. It is causing too much issues on the J and the Z line. For the door problem, it's still continuing on. It's runs are going missing. Sometimes the trains come late. There's bunching, which is irritating passengers like me. So I think it's time to replace those R179s. I know they're like 3 years old, but it's time to replace them. They're too problematic. I think you guys need to start ordering more R211s to replace those, because it's causing so much issues on the lines that it serves. That's all I gotta say. Thank you so much.
The next public speaker is Lisa Guerrero, followed by Ethan Belletta.
Good afternoon. How are you, Chairman and members of the board? My name is Lisa Guerrero with Inside Edition. I'm here to get a comment about the dangerous levels of lead that we found blowing out of the vents and into the subway cars across New York City. Do you have any comment about the lab results we presented to you? Can you please tell us what you plan to do to address this important public health issue? With all due respect, we have turned over our results quite a while ago. We've asked for a response and we haven't had it yet. So we're using this public forum in the hopes that you will address this important public health issue. We found dangerous levels of lead blowing out of the vents and into the subway cars across New York City. Do you have a comment about that, Chairman? When can we plan to hear from you with a response, sir? I haven't heard a time that you will be getting back to us with a response. We're planning to go to air with this in the next 48 hours. Would you like to respond to us at all before we go to air? We've reached out and we're waiting for a response. Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thank you. Next public speaker is Ethan Belletta.
Abstentions. Thank you. Tom, are there any changes to the work plan?
There are no changes to today's work plan. Going forward, you'll note that
Development, former Manhattan Toll Plaza area at the RFK, the entire, we have plan, the reconstruct
the almost 60-year-old upper-level approaches to the Verrazano. Reconstruction of the upper-level approach will be accomplished in 3 phases, shown in blue, pink, and green on the slide. Deck replace system on the full-length approach viaducts, which will extend the life of those structures, and shown in blue is a $336 million project to replace the decks on the suspended span. I'll discuss this project in further detail on the next slide. The project includes replacing the suspended span decks with lighter
Okay, folks. I want to quickly go into a couple things. Andy made some very valid points today. Where I am wondering here, and I'm gonna have to bring this up with Larry in March, is that why is there so much fascination with this R262? And we'll get to the Pix 11 story in just a second. I'm kind of wondering whatever happened to the R211s. Why aren't they still being discussed? Because I am going to mention to Larry that, when the R211s come out, I'm going to be on that last F train at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike. That's the R46. Go on the record. But, completely agree with Andy. Metro North needs M9s. The ridership just keeps increasing. More M9s need to be ordered in the next couple of years. Completely agree with Andy on that. The M3s have to be completely gone on both Metro North and Long Island Railroad by the end of the decade. There's no excuses about that. By 2029, they need to be eliminated completely. Just going on the record and saying that. But that's something that should be discussed in the 24-28 budget. But as far as what was I going to say? There is some good news about the Throgs Neck Bridge. I just wanted to take a look because they were talking about the Verrazano, but it looks like by 2022, they are going to keep doing work on the Throgs Neck. And that is because you have Larry Shorts getting involved with the procurements. So if it wasn't for Larry, this wouldn't be happening. As I said, I'm very thankful for Larry. And by the way, I will be thanking Larry in March, going on the record forward. Let's see here. I'm just going to fast forward very quickly. Anything else regarding the Enhanced Revenue Service demonstration? It looks like things are going very good here. I don't want to get into that, but a lot was talked about PTC today, which is very good. And then they went to executive session. Okay. Yeah, I know Cuomo corruption. I know. Yeah, I'll go on the record, Cuomo corruption. I actually called Lisa Guerrero's agency in California. So far they haven't gotten back to me. I'm hoping that, as I said, if I did stay for CPOC today, I would have talked to Lisa one-on-one, and I would have asked her, did you find any lead on the E and the F train? I would have openly had said that, and if she wanted to do a ride with me on the train, again, to prove the point, please let us know. I am looking forward to that report on Wednesday, because she claimed 48 hours. Yeah, we'll have to see how the fleet swap does. I'm not going to comment about that. That's not the appropriate time and place to do it. I would say the appropriate place and time to talk about OTP would have to be honest, I'd have to give it a month. I'd have to at least wait for a February 2020 report about on-time performance in the subway. Cuomo corruption, the best thing I would just say to you right now would be, overall, we would have to maybe wait until April. actually no, maybe May, to see if we can get an assessment of March's OTP, to see how the first month of Andy Byford not running in night CT would have to end up. But I will say this: I'm very antsy about the Queens Boulevard line. I'm very antsy to see how the E and the F train will do. Not that Andy Byford's gone, but today, thankfully, no issue on the E as of yet. But that could change overnight. Right. What else did I want to get into? Right. We're gonna watch a video from Pix 11 News regarding the R211s and what I will discuss next month with Chairman Schwartz. So hopefully Bob will pay attention to this too next month, Bob for Ram. But see if I can find a video, and then we'll wrap it up by reading today's AM New York, because there's some articles I'm gonna get into, and then we'll wrap up everything, because I'm gonna go downstairs and watch a little bit of Channel 7 and call it a night. Then I do have to go to Northwell tomorrow. So, let's just see here. Hang on. Thought I had the video. Yeah, here it is.
Name that.
So this is Greg Mocker's report today regarding the R262 train. So let's watch.
Name that subway car, not the letter or the number from the line. Can you tell the type of model? The next generation will have these open gangways, no doors between cars, known as the R262s. The MTA's been talking about them for nearly a decade. Other systems have had them for years.
When I come every morning, it's packed like sardines.
This is New York City. This is not Toronto. This is not London. It's a totally different system. So I feel that the MTA should be very cautious.
At the monthly MTA New York City Transit Committee meeting Monday, commissioners debated a potential first order, nearly 1,000 new subway cars with the open gangway design. The full board has to take it up on Wednesday. At the committee meeting, they were concerned that the current order for new cars, called the R211s, should be allowed to arrive first. That's supposed to begin happening later this year.
Now you're asking us to approve a really large number before we've even had the experience of the R211 open gangway cars.
May 2021 is the first time the open gangway design could be tested in the New York City system. Board member Larry Schwartz says ordering now will lock in a good price and keep the project moving.
Going to the open gangway concept is going to be a game changer for the system.
People will be able to move to spaces that give them more space. We'll have less congestion around doors. We'll have wider doors.
Delays and mechanical issues have come up with past car orders. Nearly 300 of the R179s on the J line had to be taken out of service last month after some had an issue with the doors.
So, we're going to have to wait until Wednesday. Let me put my camera back on, because we'll go back to my camera. Okay, there we go. Put me back. Because that's how we'll wrap up the stream. So, look, folks, it's a very complicated issue right now. We'll have to wait until Wednesday, that's for sure. Right now, we just don't know the situation. But, trust me, there may be some criticism for me in March. I'm warning you all now. Because the R46s are on their last leg. And I'll mention today on the R, I was waiting at Cortlandt Street. And I had to literally cover my ears today. Because the brakes were completely squeaking loud. Like, I literally had to cover my ears like this today. Because I couldn't take it. Like, I have to get on the back of the two cars. Otherwise, I can't exit at Stone Street. It's a long walk. So, I have to be in the last two cars. Being at the World Trade Center is perfect because I take the E, I walk to the underground passageway. That's the same way I always want to do it. But, that's just the issue on the nutshell right there. So, I'll read your comments as we go along here. Okay, nothing else new. Alright, so very quickly, I'll go into today's AM New York because there were some MTA articles that were published today. So, let's get into it. things I want to get into. I'll also talk about Philip Bang as well because he was featured today. So, if you go to page, what is it? Right. Page 12 and page 13 today, you'll see this in AM New York Metro. And I'm literally doing the in the paper segment of New York One, it seems. Wow. How crazy is that? But I had an epic fail today. So while I was recording the podcast for NPR, what had happened was my front page was ripped when I picked up my copy in Kew Gardens. So I was in a hurry, of course, didn't realize it, so I was going to read it on the subway. And then I'm like, how do I have my front page ripped off? And I had to wait until I got over to Fulton Street, because I know Fulton Street, there's an AM New York stand over there, which is a block away from Church Street, where I have to get the E train. And, you know, I'm like, come on already, really? Really? Okay, now let's get into this, shall we? Okay, they have an AM New York Metro Presents Ask the MTA. Send us your questions for the MTA. You'll get an answer. Email them at askthemta@amnewyork.com. Interesting. So I've never seen this before. Guess because I never pay attention to AM New York on Mondays. I'm always getting it on Tuesdays, it seems, but that's what happens when you need a subway and you need an AM New York. Okay, let's get into it. Question. Ridership for the C train has tripled in the last 2 years. Why aren't there 4 E trains for every 1 C train during the rush hour? You have to wait 5-20 minutes for another C train. Jake Cross, director of Rail Network Planning for New York City Transit, says, "You're right, that we can run more E trains than C trains. Simply put, the reasoning is we can run more trains on busier lines to serve the most possible customers. So during the rush hour, we can schedule the E train to run every 4 minutes and the C train every 8 to 10 minutes. New York City Transit continues to monitor ridership on all lines so we can revise the schedule when feasible the need arises. And while we've seen the growth on the scene the last 2 years, the gains are actually relatively modest, reaching 8% on the high end. The MTA data shows that C trains can carry the most people at Hoyt Skimmerhorn Station on trains heading to Manhattan during the morning rush. In comparison, Manhattan-bound E trains during the morning rush carry 3 times as many riders as the busiest point, which is Jackson Heights Roosevelt Avenue. That is not to say the gaps in C service never happen. When there are delays, more than 2 E trains may run between the delayed C trains, but such situations are happening less and less frequently. Over the last 2 years, weekday on-time performance for the C has increased substantially from 53 to 70%. Still, we know there's always room for improvement. Then the process of retiring the 56-year-old R32 cars. Okay. Very quickly, there was a question. Yeah, this Brooklyn. I want to get into that. Al Poultry today, believe it or not, the director of Omni answered the question about Omni system will upgrade the MetroCard system. And again, I know this answer very well, but Dave made a good point today, was that interesting. Okay, so they want to completely phase out the MetroCard by 2023, which we know that, which, as I said, I'm going to have to actually speak to David Poultry if I can regarding disability, because that's going to impact me when Omni happens. But let me see here. Yeah. Replace the MetroCard system by 2023. That's what it says in here. So the rollout gradually, initially relying on contactless cards. Okay, don't want to get into that. Right, so they will be getting their outreach starting next year in 2021. So they will start to sell them at Rite Aid, Walgreens, Duane Reade, and CVS. Let's see. Interesting. So we do have an answer regarding reduced fare and disabled Metro cards. And I quote, all of our reduced fare MetroCard customers will receive an Omni reduced fare card prior to the decommissioning of the MetroCard. So there you have it. Looks like in the mail I should be getting an Omni card. I'll just have to notify the MTA about it if I ever, need to change an address in the future. But I'll quickly mention with my disability card, I'll double check this for a second. What am I due for it to be replaced? Yeah, I'm due for mine to be replaced on November 30th of 2021. So I'm going to have to speak to David Poultry about that next year when the time comes around my 26th birthday. So I'll ask David point simple, can't you get me an Omni card, disabled one, for, in the nick of time, so that way when, let's say in theory, January 1st, 2023, Omni goes into full effect, right? Let's say for any odd reason, we'll just get the Omni disabled cards out. So, I know I should be experiencing the same benefits. So, I'm going to keep you all posted when we do have the Omni reader at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike. I did not see it today once again, so there is no Omni over there at Kew Gardens Union Turnpike. However, I want to mention some good news at the World Trade Center on the E-Train. The Omni reader is available at the World Trade Center. So if you want to use Omni at the World Trade Center at Church Street by Fulton, you can use that one, which is a block south of Vesey. Okay, now we're going to quickly go into Philip Ang. I don't want to get into this, but very good that Philip Ang got into the AM New York today. That's good. It's just getting late. I'm getting tired, honestly. So I guess, I guess with that, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to wrap this up. Because, honestly, we're done here. Okay. So I'm going to call it. Have a good night, everyone. Just double check one more time for the, pop-out. Double check here. Yep. It's going to wrap it up. So have a good night, everyone. Bye.